We're going live now. The Zoom is preparing the live stream. The Zoom is configuring the interwebs and preparing the liveness of the stream. Hello, and welcome to SEO plus AI show. My name is Josh Bashinsky. With me, as always, I have my co-host, Greg. Say hi there, Greg.
Hello, folks.
And we're doing a special Saturday morning SEO plus AI show because we're so busy we could literally find no other time to do it. But we want to continuously do this show, and we are going to continuously do this show. So welcome. I was telling Greg, I literally just rolled out of bed. And I can't literally see straight right now. I can't see the controls of this thing that's going on. So if you're watching, we can answer questions live in the right-hand side. If anyone is up this early in the morning doing SEO on a Saturday, you can ask questions live, or this show, of course, will also be recorded, and you will be able to watch this later as well. Greg, I don't know, say something because I'm half asleep.
Sure. Yeah, I'm excited to do this show. I think that the keyword spread and GLTR and our advanced AI detection is like super cool. Very, very useful. Been using it a lot lately, and it's been helpful for my writers as well.
Right. That's what we're doing. always the consummate professional. Craig brings it back around to what it is we're supposed to be talking about. Okay. So if you've never watched the SEO plus AI show before, we discuss everything AI and SEO related. If you have not been paying attention and you've been living under some form of a boulder or a rock, as they say, perhaps even a cave, you will have not noticed this AI thing, which has happened to all of us, whether we like it or not. And search engine optimization essentially is just reverse engineering AIs now. It's essentially just understanding AI. And I don't think there's an industry out there, quite frankly, and Greg, you can jump in if you think I'm wrong, but I literally don't think there's an industry out there that will be affected by AI more than SEO. I literally don't think that's the case, because not only does SEO do a whole lot of writing, which is low level writing, or it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be expert writing. It's supposed to be helpful writing. It's supposed to be great content, right? But you and I both know it sometimes ends up being just crank it out writing, and that's exactly what AI will replace and can replace. And not only that, but we can use AI and next generation AI tools, like for example the one we've built together called Keyword Spy. But there's other AI tools. The whole show's not a sales pitch, so we're not going to mention it the entire time, even though it is the superior tool. There's and now AI is being used for every single SEO tool you could possibly think of, rightly or wrongly, for better or for worse. I'm hard pressed to think of an industry that will be affected by AI more than SEO, I think. But what are your thoughts on that?
In the short term, you're probably right. I think in a couple of years, you're going to see it affect music. It's already starting to affect design.
Yeah.
Graphics, video. That's all coming down the pipe quickly as this just speedily rapidly improves the technology. It's at a crazy pace. So yeah, more to come in terms of industries being affected.
Definitely. For sure. It's amazing how every week, every big tech company is just trying to one up the other one. So, GPT4 is now released. The browse version of OpenAI has now been leaked. I don't know if they've released it. It's been leaked. People have been talking about it. I was under an NDA. I wasn't allowed to mention it. I was one of the 500 testers who tested this browse feature for OpenAI. Mm-hmm. It's now got its own search agent, and then Google Bard just got released. Their AI chat component for the United States, anyway, it's been released. Bing Chat's already been out for a month or two. Yeah, and so Microsoft has put AI in every single tool they have, in every single piece of software they have. You could generate now and interpret and analyze and classify in Word and Excel. ChatGPT is smart enough now with the math modules it has that it could largely replace Excel for many, many features and functions that people do. And then Google has put AI in every single thing they have too. So they put it in Google Sheets, they put it in Google Docs, they put it in Google Forms. They're putting AI to analyze, classify, and generate content in all those tools. And so that's going to be now a standard feature. Like people know the Control F is for search, or Command F if you're on the Mac is for search. Everyone knows everything has a search function, like feature like that. Now, everyone's going to know, oh yeah, of course, every tool can generate text. This is just a thing. This is just a thing that tools do now. Like every piece of software can generate text. Every piece of software can classify, analyze it, and read it and explain it to you, just as a base feature. And insert crazy mathematics in it because it understands it. Insert programming in it. Insert HTML in it. Format tables based on your instructions. That is the base feature of every piece of software now. It's insane. It's nuts.
Yeah, absolutely.
You might be wondering, did he just say he just woke up? He did. What's in this bottle? We don't know. It could be water, or maybe it's beer. Who knows? That would explain Josh's behavior, that's for sure. All right, so as promised, let's talk about what we're going to talk about today, GLTR. So for those of you who don't know, again, this change in AI has also spawned a giant change in content generation. So academia is probably the second industry I could think that is going to be the most affected by AI, because now every student can easily, at the very least, get a Coles Notes of any piece of writing. Ask ChatGPT, please summarize me in the 10 main points, War and Peace. There you go. Memorize that. Much smaller than reading War and Peace, I assure you. It's a giant book. I've read it. Much shorter, much faster, much easier, much more efficient than your teacher, quite frankly, in many universities. And this is speaking as someone who I've taught across universities in Canada. I've taught all the way from Nanaimo on the West Coast to Halifax on the East Coast and many cities in between. I've taught at the university level. I've marked thousands of university papers. So I know a little bit of what I'm talking about when I say that most of my fellow professors, they sucked and they don't care about teaching. And ChatGPT will be just there for you 24 hours a day just to answer your question and help you understand it, right? So one, that's an amazing change there. And think about understanding your job too. Like you can apply for a job, and some jobs, I'm not saying you should do this. Let me put a giant caveat. Okay, hold on. Forget I'm drinking this. Let me put a giant caveat on what I'm about to say. No, you should not apply for a job you have no idea what you're doing, because that's probably going to end badly. However, now you can, there's a thin red line where he's like, I don't really know how to do this or parts of it, but ChatGPT will tell me how to do it if I get the job. So I'll just apply, right? You can even ask ChatGPT how to pass this interview with this company, right? You can even ask it for resume tips. You can ask it to coach me how I should do this interview. I mean, your only limit is your imagination. The only limit is your imagination. So not only that, but then in terms of content generation, now, of course, students can not only get Coles Notes and synopsis, now they can just say, okay, write me the paper. Write me the paper, write me 2,000 words. You can easily write 2,000 words. And it'll write a cogent, pretty darn good paper, because another secret, and so I just dissed all the professors, so now I'm going to be even-handed and diss some students. Your papers suck. You have no idea how to write. You barely read the thing. I gave out so many C's and B's, or a lot of D's and some F's. The writing sucks. And so ChatGPT would be a marked improvement from what most students hand in the vast majority of the time. So that's one way the professor will know immediately. I knew immediately, because I knew my students pretty well personally. I knew immediately in 98% of the cases that you didn't write this. You've never said this in class. This is not what you think. I know what you think. I know you're a closet, whatever, Kantian, you're a closet Platonist. I know you don't like this philosopher, but suddenly you're singing their praises here in a vernacular you would never use in class. That's not you. D, you know how many students ever critiqued me on that? Zero. Zero students ever took me to the office and said, I did write it, I did. Why did I get a D? No one ever did it. I did this hundreds of times. So I guess my guess was pretty good. So don't think it's going to be that easy for them not to detect it. But anyway, the arms race of, and then there's AI content detectors to try to detect the AI writing. But this not only applies to academia, of course, this applies to SEO tons and a lot of marketing tons, because now that $5 an hour VA you've hired over there is just going to fire up ChatGPT and write this thing in 10 seconds and be able to do that much more work and get paid that much more money. And people have a vested interest now in both doing AI content generation and AI content detection. And it's the new arms race. It's the new sub arms race in the AI arms race that has a lot of people very, very scared and is very, very important for a lot of people. Greg, do you think I hit the nail on the head there? Did I miss anything when it comes to the AI content generation or detection?
Oh, geez, yeah, probably. There's so much to it. It would be a, several days, weeks, months. You could do a whole class on this, on how to do it.
Yeah.
Beginner level, intermediate, advanced. I mean, this is just the Wild West. There's so much. I don't know. It's beyond my puny little brain. So.
Yeah. So, not agreeing with it being beyond your puny little brain. I'm saying yes, you're right. It's a new thing you can spend a lot of time on. So of course, as SEOs ourselves, we are not immune or unaware of these developments. And also, as the developers of this next generation AI tool that we're making, not only do we detect all the AI keywords that you need to use, all the keywords you need to use using the actual AIs that Google uses, RankBrain, Neuromatching, BERT, helpful content, product content, at least those 5 on-page AIs we know they use for a fact because we read the white papers, we read the patents, we've gotten the open source versions of some of these, we're processing all of this, we're running all of these models to actually test the actual keywords you need. But that's not all you can do with an AI tool, of course. People are doing AI content generation and people are doing AI content detection. So we also are doing AI content generation. And that means we also need to do very good AI content detection, because if the tools that we make, and if in SEO we're making tools either way, if the content we generate is very easily detectable by Google, Google has said blatantly, point blank, we will detect made for SEO AI content and we will penalize made for SEO AI content. The message is very clear. Now, if you're like, well, Josh, that's not quite what they said, I'd say, no, that is exactly what they said. They said, do not use made for SEO, quote unquote, AI generated content. And you're like, well, they just mean like spray and pray. No, they mean everything. They mean every single page, right? Do you think they have a directory of white hat SEOs that they leave alone? No, they detect every single page. If you're trying to rank it, which every single page we are, otherwise you're not a very good SEO, are you? Every single page we're trying to rank, that is made for SEO content. And they are going to subject it to AI detection. So anyone going out there is going crazy on ChatGPT, or Jasper, or Surfer, or Justin's content scale tool, anyone, or Eric Lantry's AI tool, which generates content, which he says is undetectable, which I say, la bullshit. I say to my fellow Canadian Quebecer friend, say la bullshit, mon ami Eric. I can detect it very easily. You need to worry about this, right? You need to worry about this. You need to be above the threshold of your competitors. So that's why in Keyword Spy, we give you the average predictability of a next generation way of detecting AI content using the GLTR method, which I'm about to go over and show you. We give you the average of your top 10 competitors. And as long as you're within the average of who's over the top 10, you should be safe. You should be safe. So that's the approach we take. So let me just check here quickly, guys. If you have any SEO questions while you're watching, thank you for watching on this early Saturday morning show that we didn't announce until 30 minutes before. 1, 2, thank you for interacting as well. And if you have any SEO questions, you can go ahead and throw them in there. If you want to join the live show, make sure you subscribe to my channel and click that little bell icon so you can get notifications of when we're going to do the show. We promise we are going to get to a regular time sometime. Probably Tuesday morning or Tuesday morning or Wednesday morning will probably be the time we'll do it. Maybe Wednesday hump day, probably. But right now, we got so much going on that we had to parcel it in a weird way, but we will get to a regular show is my point. But if you have any SEO questions, please throw them in there. And Adya sorry if I mispronounced your name, did ask a question. He asks, is link building dead? Is link building dead? That's a great question. Is link building dead? There's two ways to answer that. The first way is yes, entirely. If you're thinking about how link building has been done for the last 20 years, that is completely dead. Google has two primary AIs to rank sites and to de-index sites: Rank Brain and Spam Brain. And Rank Brain and Spam Brain are the yin yang of the AIs that they have, plus about 20 more, are the yin yang of the AIs that they have to Rank Brain ranks sites, and Spam Brain penalizes sites, demotes sites, de-indexes sites and pages. And so and it's all machine learned based on the disavow file. So if your backlink profile and in the web spam form, anything else that they've detected and could see looks like a spammy link, the way a human would look at the page, the AI looks at the page the way a human would look at the page. So if your backlink profile looks anything like anything in anyone's disavow file ever, then yeah, that kind of link building is dead, and that's definitely not going to help you. It might even hurt you. In Underground SEO University, which is the mastermind group that Greg is a member of and that I run, we've done a lot of testing to find out that spam brain is quite nasty. It could be quite nasty, and there can be edge cases where even powerful sites can be hurt by bad links. We're starting to see some field evidence of this. So, you'd be really careful with link building. So if you ask the question to me, is link building dead? I would say, if you mean anything remotely like how we've been doing it for the last 20 years, the answer is yes. You totally have to change your tactics. You totally have to change the way you do it. Email me if you have any more questions on that, joshbashinsky@gmail.com. Okay, and then James says, I've heard you're not afraid to blast other SEOs, LOL. Sorry. Yes, I am. Because I'll call out stuff where I don't think it's right or true. I did an ethics background at university, and that's just the way I'm wired. Brando says, high amount of perplexity and burst in use. That your question gives me a high amount of perplexity. I don't know what that means. Please re-ask it again, Brando. I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that. Okay, so let me share my screen here and show you what I mean by GLTR. Hey, there we go. Okay, so I'm on the staging server of Keyword Spy, which you should not go to. Go to trykeywordspy.com or app.trykeywordspy.com if you want to use the tool. And now we have full tutorials for doing everything, and we're going to get more tutorials as time goes on, as you notice. Okay, so what is GLTR? The GLTR method of detecting content is based on the predictability of how predictable it is, how easy it is to generate tokens. So tokens or words, how easy it is to generate words. Tokens are word pieces, words or word pieces. And the GLTR method is based on a statistical model of how easy it is to get those tokens in a row. For example, you could flip a coin once and you get heads, once you get tails, once you get heads, once you get tails. But if you flip a coin 100 times and all you got was tails, then there's something statistically wrong with that picture, right? That cannot happen. That should not happen, statistically speaking. And the GLTR method is based on the same method. So let's go over here. So let's run some tests. Let's go here to the legacy GPT and say, please write me an SEO article on ballet for adults. Okay, and so I'm just going to get to write an article, and you're like, this is for everyone out there who thinks that GPT 3.5 or ChatGPT is the only SEO tool you need. And I want to show how I'm afraid that you're wrong. It's not the only SEO tool you need. In fact, you cannot rely on it to do the things you think you can rely on it to do. Now, you might, you can rely on it to do some things, and you can definitely apply it intelligently in various ways, but you cannot just rely on it to do things like write your content for you, for example, just out of the box, like the way I did. Like, just this prompt is insufficient, and a single prompt will be insufficient. You need to have a multi-prompt method, which is what we have in Keyword Spy and in Underground SEO University. We have a multi-prompt method for writing intelligent articles and doing intelligent AI content generation. So, but don't believe me, let's run some tests. Let's put this article for the EMQ, Ballet for Adults. Let's put this article through Keyword Spy and see what Keyword Spy can detect for this. So I'll take this here. So it wrote an article for us. In fact, I'll duplicate this. And I believe I already have Ballet for Adults somewhere here. I think I do, or no, I don't. Okay. So I'll just do Ballet for Adults really quickly. Boom. Oh, here it is. Okay. So I'll put in this article. So that's the article that and this is Keyword Spy. This is our tool. So this is the article that ChatGPT wrote. And if we run the content score and check the optimization, it's not that bad out of the box. It's got a 52 on the optimization NLP detection. And it's got the average is the competitors there says 41. The readability is pretty low. The sentiment is positive. It's what you want. But take a look at this. The average predictability length is 6.43. That means the average times that we saw the coin flip tails was 6 times. That means the average times that we saw it, and I'm going to drill down to this in a second. The average time we saw it produce one of the top 10 tokens in a row. On average, it's got 6 top 10 tokens in a row. That means on average, in the 500 times that means on average, we are flipping the coin and getting tails 6 times in a row on average. And that's really, really rare for a 50% chance. It's incredibly rare for a 0.0001% chance, which is what getting the top 10 tokens next in order would be like, right? Which I'll drill that down. I'll show you visually how that works in a second. Then we have the worst predictability length, which is the worst offender of all your sentences in here. You go on, this article from ChatGPT goes on 22 tokens. 22 tokens in a row of a 0.001% chance of getting it. Do you know the statistical probability of getting that in a row? That is where things start to get very dangerous and where Google can start to detect that this is probably an AI generated article. And it's very easy for Google to detect it. Also, another thing we notice here in general that it's only using 478 words when the average is 1,500. So that's part of the reason why you don't have the keyword depth you need to have what it is you need to have here. And then last but not least, the predictability, the general percentage predictability is 81%. This is an 81% predictable article when the average, the SERP average here is only 71% predictable. And we could take a look here at the SERP average. If it's done processing, I'm not sure, because I just ran the test. We could take a look at the SERP average here and see what the predictability is. And we can see, oh, okay, look, wow, this guy obviously is AI generated at 92% predictable. This guy is probably AI generated at 78% predictable. You can start to see who else is using AI content. This guy, Houston, could be AI generated at 0.76, and you can see the lower ones here. So also notice that 0.81 and 0.92 in AI predictability, I don't know if you've noticed this, Greg, they're always on page 2. And I don't think that's an accident, right? I think when you see a higher AI predictability like this on page 2, I don't think that's an accident. I think these guys succumbed to the temptation of just firing up ChatGPT to write an article, and that's why they end up with high AI predictabilities and they end up on page 2. I don't think that's an accident. I think they've shot themselves in the foot, personally. That's just my opinion. I've only looked at a few dozen of these. Definitely not. That's starting to build a statistical analysis, but it's by no means a conclusive one. But let's take a look here at. Okay, so you're like, okay, Josh. Well, I get that. Yes, some of this is going to be AI detectable, but how? In what way exactly can AI can Google detect it? And in what way? How can I see it as a human being? What's the easiest way? Well, we use the GLTR method, which analyzes the text, and I pasted it in here, and you see it's the original color of ChatGPT. And then, okay, so this is what I'll do. So it's using the original color of ChatGPT. I'll just fire it into Notepad to get rid of the the style. There we go. So we get rid of the style, and then what we do is we use the color method to mark which words are predictable and which words are not. So this color here, which I believe is green, I'm colorblind between these two colors. I can barely see the difference, although I can kind of see it here. You can see all the green. Look at how predictable this content is, right? You can see all the green of this content, and this is under 10 tokens. For example, look at this here. This was the first word, and this is the 3,156th most likely token to start a sentence in its corpus. So it started off very unpredictable with the first token of BAL. Usually, and this is really fascinating. Look, usually you'd start a sentence in this corpus with the, or a quotation, or a, or I, or in, or a period, or it, or s, or this. So that's normally how you would start. This kind of gives you a sense of the statistical analysis of how this works and how you could use this to write less predictable content, or quite frankly, how you can use an AI generator to generate content and then bring it in here and then fool the system by then choosing improbable tokens in the middle of these green blocks. And that's how you would fix it so that you don't seem so predictable. But then what happened is we get green. It's like, okay, well, what we expected after BAL was definitely some other token like this. And ballet was the 6th. It was the 7th, actually, because it starts at 0, but I'll just say it's the 6th. Ballet was the 6th most predictable token to put after that. And that's how you get, and then for adults, this was 13, so just outside of the top 10, but still statistically very close. And then adults was the 34th. They expected more predictable would have been women, girls, men, kids, other than adults. So this is how you would get more predictable, or how you could get less predictable. And then it started to figure out, it's like, okay, guide was the next thing. It's like, okay, you want a guide for sure. And that's a common turn of phrase. And that's another suggestion that we can make, is that when you're doing AI generated content, stay away, or writing your own content, because Google doesn't know at the end of the day whether a human wrote it or an AI wrote it. They're looking for common turns of phrase. They're looking for high predictability, right? So at the end of the day, try to avoid common turns of phrase, like a guide to this, or any common turns of phrase in whatever language you're using. And this doesn't just apply to English. This applies to every language that Google has, right? This applies to everything that they got. So then you're like, okay, what's this different color here? Discovering was 677th most likely token that they could put in there, discover. And then ing, they're like, okay, well, discovering is very, very predictable. And then they're going to think, oh, the art, the best, the world. But also discovering the beauty of dance, right? So other cool things about this. So I could be like, okay, well, I want to make this less predictable. Find the big blocks of green and then start changing those words, and that would cut it up and make it less predictable. It would reduce your overall predictability, which is very close to the one we pasted in the front editor. It could be within a few points, because it depends if it's looking at the HTML or not. The HTML is going to affect a couple of different formatting things and whatnot. The average predictability length is very, very close, and the worst predictability length is very, very close. What you want to do is you want to find the green in here. And this is just experimental for now, and then eventually we're going to be able to build this into a comprehensive, the same tool. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to find the blocks of green, and you're going to want to break those up. So ballet is often associated with children. I could change associated to maybe something else that's not one of these, like for example, and I have to not demo, I have now need to think of writing, and I can't demo and think of writing at the same time, so it's difficult for me. But ballet is often associated with children. one typically considers children when it comes to ballet. I could try that sentence instead to see if it's less predictable. And it is. First off, I had a misspelling there. I'll analyze it again. Misspellings are awfully unpredictable too. But so I've changed it. See, so I've changed the colors. I've made the colors better. So one typically considers children when it comes to ballet, but it's not just for the young. Ballet is a beautiful and graceful art form that can be enjoyed. So I could find these big, long green things here. Discover the great joy of ballet and have discovered that it offers a unique form of exercise. So then I'll analyze the text again. And hopefully my change of synonyms, yes, they are not in the green. So I'm breaking up the green. And that's what you would do. This is the real way that Google and a real robust AI is going to detect the content. And this is the way in which humans can very quickly change this. It's a great choice for those adults. This is how, just by throwing words in and breaking up the turns of phrase, that you have the best chance, there we go, to break those up and reduce the average predictability length and to reduce the predictability, which we're already doing here in real time. And then you can look for that 20 token one that is the worst. You can break that up too, which is the way Google, it's probably this one, class regularly and to practice at home. We can add a contraction here. You'll be simply amazed at how quickly you see progress. And there we go. So I broke it down and I was right. That was the one that was the worst offender. And so you could just break it down like this. You could just see it. You could just break down the bad color. Like they said in that Shyamalan movie, the bad color, red's the bad color. In this case, green is the bad color. And here's another awesome thing about the tool is if you want to make that red to make sure you know what you're talking about, you can set it red. You can be like, this is RGB. I can set that to red. Boom. Now you can see much better which here is the bad color. And it's much more easier to go and change it. You can change all these colors if you want. And if you like, you can just be like, okay, I'm going to change all this to 0, 0, and then 10. And analyze there like this. Or no, these two colors are too similar. So I'll set this to red as well, 2, 5, 5, 1, and 1. There we go. So now we just have two different colors and we're just looking at the straight predictability measure of what is in the top 10 tokens to predict and what is beyond the top 10 tokens to predict. So now we see all the red that is easily predictable and we can fix it that way too. Because remember, the difference between 10 and 100 here in measuring it that way, statistically is not that much. And this is just a way for us to visually break it down. That's not necessarily the way Google's going to use it to detect the bad color, the predictable tokens. So early days here, we're building it up. There's the occasional little funny bug that happens where it starts combining words together. I think that's just visually. I don't think that's for the analysis. But it's great to get on this tool now and get to learn how it works now. But this kind of tactic of choosing, predicting the predictability, I use this all the time. Greg, what comments do you have about it?
I think you covered it pretty well. The simple, what you just demonstrated, that little bug is being fixed. So that's it's just for some reason deleting spaces every time you analyze. So just a quick fix for that. But overall, I use it too as well. It's very helpful. And then eventually we'll have it integrated into our content editor. But for right now, we just want to get some feedback and understand how everyone likes it and is using it. But bottom line, those 3 metrics on the right are definitely not being done anywhere else. And are probably the closest of what Google is actually doing. So
Yeah.
we're pretty proud of that.
And I think the reason why it's not being used anywhere else is because it's very unforgiving, right? It's very easy to get past all the other content detectors, which are just kind of like a blatant mathematical score. This breaks it down in a way that a human can see, oh yeah, look at all the red here. And you need to do this, you need to paste this in if you have papers, if you have articles, if you have student essays, you need to paste this in here, especially if you're working in SEO in our particular cases, to keep your writers honest, to make sure that they have not just AI generated this and you're not just doing this. This should be in your standard operating procedure, in your SOP. This should be a line item in your SOP. Paste it in here, see what the predictability is, see what the colors are, take a screenshot, put that in the project management file to prove to your customers and to your clients and or to yourself that you're keeping them honest and they're not just using AI and they're not just ripping you off in that regard. Okay, let's quickly check here to see what kind of questions we have. All right. Adyet says, I recently watched your video on keyword researching using Google Planner. Are you sure that I will rank organically if I follow the same steps? Yes, of course. I wouldn't have recommended it if I wouldn't have recommended it if it didn't do that. Ivan says, is bulk AI writing for frequent article publication a good idea? Some sites tanked after doing so. How much AI content is safe to publish monthly, and what are the best practices to avoid penalty? Perfect question, Ivan. So I did answer that, but basically the answer is you need to stay within the limits of your competitors. So whatever their averages are for this, you can even spot check and see, okay, what are the top ones getting here? They're around 65%, 64%, 66%. There is a huge commonality to human writing, and you see it often comes down to the same turns of phrases, and it often is very close to each other. So that's around where you want to be. And for example, if we go to Ballet for Adults here and rerun the content score of what we were using here, oh wow, suddenly it thinks it's 86. What? Well, that's weird. You want to make sure that
was that the one you just generated?
Or was no, right. Oh, this is the one I deleted. This is the one I wrote. Oh yeah, this is why it's optimized, because this is the one I wrote. Right. It doesn't matter. It's good for an example. You see, I'm a little high on the predictability though, so I'm taking a risk. I would want to be much closer to 71% for sure. I'm a little better on the size, the one that I wrote. I'm optimized. I'm in the optimized score at 86% in terms of the depth of keywords. But we're going to look at the spread of keywords in a second. My average predictability length, though, is still a little high. So I haven't gone and actually optimized this in GLTR yet. I've optimized this for keyword depth, and my readability is good, and the positivity is good, and those are the averages of my competitors and where I want it to be. However, my AI content is not good, Ivan, and no, I would not recommend. I mean, you are taking a risk if you are just generating AI content and not caring at all about how easy it is to detect it. So that's another thing that we need to do. Another thing that will make it better is if when we start adding the spread keywords, which is another thing that we're going to be talking about, assuming that we have time, which I think we're going to. So Ivan, no, bulk AI writing is not good, not without detecting whether it is what ratios it has anyway. Brando says, ChatGPT, when writing an article with increased perplexity and burstiness amount, it is difficult to read. Any solution? Yeah, use Keyword Spy. We're building in the best possible AI content generation into Keyword Spy automatically, written by yours truly, myself right here. There is a way to whisper to the AI to prompt it. And the way you want to build the best AI article is you need to use ChatGPT. You need to tell it how to do SEO. You have to give it a content brief, like you're giving it to a writer, and say, here's your SEO goals, here's your writing goals, here's you want to use active tense, you want to use shorter sentences, you want to use dynamic writing, and then you want to talk to it like a human being, and you need to write it a content brief. And then you need to say, here's your SEO goals, please use these keywords, and then use these keywords in order. And you either copy and paste that out of Keyword Spy, your highly scored words, which actually uses, as I said, all the actual AIs Google is using. You cannot trust Jasper, you can't trust Surfer, you can't trust any of these other AI tools because they're not actually testing Google's AIs. They're just using an open source NLP that we have access to too. Everyone has access to it, and making up the keywords. So you can't trust any other tool. You either have to do it yourself as an SME and as an SEO who knows the industry inside and out, or I would use a tool to help you do this faster. And of course, the only tool I can recommend is the one I built because I know what's built into it. I made it. So, I know it sounds self-serving, but that's the only one I trust, quite frankly. So you would have to use Keyword Spy for that. But whatever tool you use, you have to do the keyword research, and then you paste that into ChatGPT, and you have to prompt it, and you have to tell it to do this twice, otherwise it won't do it. You must use these keywords, and then you can tell it which keywords to avoid if you have demoting keywords, which is another thing possible. All this will be built into Keyword Spy. You don't have to prompt any of this eventually. And then we're building in there right now because we want to take our time to make sure we're doing the depth and the spread keywords properly. So first off, you get it to generate sections, which is how we're going to do it behind the system. Then you get it to write each section. And so you don't run out of tokens. The token length for ChatGPT is the problem. And then it generates the article, and that is both because it generated each in isolation. Not only is it much less detectable, not only is it much better written because it has a comprehensive brief and outline that it's following, it also has all the right depth and spread keywords stuffed in there. You often don't have to do any optimization after that at all. It's usually within the green zone for depth, and then it automatically does the spread keywords for you, which I'm about to show you as well. What are spread keywords and why they're important? I'll show you that in a second. CDL512 says, how can we use this if we have a Keyword Spy membership? Yeah, that's going to be built in very, very soon. I just developed it now. We've been using it and testing it in Underground SEO University, and our programmers are putting it into Keyword Spy as we speak. Anybody who wants to see the prompts, and anybody who's a Keyword Spy member and wants to do this now, in the few days or week it'll take for us to put it in, email me at joshbashinsky@gmail.com, and I can send you the prompts, and you can test it for yourself and let us know how it works, because that's what we're going to be putting into Keyword Spy. So if you're already a member, go ahead and email me. Also, if you're in Underground SEO University, you can. I've already shared that with the group, so you should be able to find that as well. Okay, so you might be like, but Josh, you've been mentioning, but Josh, in your 9 a.m. drunken rambling, apparently, you've been mentioning spread keywords. I've heard about keyword density, but what is keyword spread? Okay, well, that is super, super important. Spread keywords are very, very important. Spread keywords are as much of a boosting factor as density is of getting around the right amount of NLP entities in the page. Not only do you need the right amount of NLP entities or keywords in the page, and you need to be in the threshold of optimized, but not over optimized, because you can go over. There is such a thing as over optimization. But you also have to have the right spread of keywords set. And you're like, well, how do you do that? What is that? Well, let me show you. So in Keyword Spy, you would go into entities and you would say, check work. And after the work is checked, what you would do, oh, that's weird. Look, in dark version here, it doesn't change the style, Craig. So let me change from dark to light mode. Here we go. A little prettier in light mode, I have to admit. There we go. You would check work, and then you would click all. And you see, these are all the entities we're using. We're using 537 entities. And we have the phrases, which are entities in a transformer, which is BERT. And it shows you how many times we're using the EMQ, which is 3, which is a pretty good amount of times. I try not to go much over that. But also it's showing us how many times they're used. So not only the score, but how many times these things are used. And the score is how we determine, based on the actual AIs being used, the score is how we determine the depth, the power of these different entities. Because here's the thing, entities are not all created equal. Every single AI has their own different entity system. And so for all these other effing poser keyword tools, like Surfer and I detest these tools, like Surfer and all these other Page Optimizer Pro and all this other bull crap, that they say has, we have the Google entities. No, they don't. No, they don't. They have entities made in a separate NLP, which wasn't built by Google and has nothing to do with what Google is doing to rank pages. We are the only tool that I know of that actually read the white papers, read the patents, downloaded all the open source versions, and or reverse engineered them and have their own AI running. And that's why the tests take so long, because we actually have to run a new model for you. We actually have to build a model for you and test it to actually be honest and say, hey, we actually have entities for you that Google might actually give a shit about. And so we have rank brain, we have neural matching, we have BERT, we have helpful content, which is the T5 POM transformer, we have product content. We have all these things, which also helps you get your experience, expertise, authority, and trust, your EAT. And these are, then we score them based on how well they scored in each of these different AIs. So the higher the score, the more that this entity showed up in this AI, this AI, this AI, this AI, and this AI. And therefore they have a higher weight and are going to boost you even harder. So you should use them more. And our score system, therefore, intelligently floats all those entities up to the top. So you know you should be using them when you're in content editor. That's why this tool is here, for you to write the article or to ensure that you have you're using all the important entities from the actual AIs Google is using, not just some random NLP that they're pretending has anything to do with Google, which it doesn't, because entities are different in every system. Rank is, for example, let me show you. Let me show you. So, for example, if I go here and I search ballet for adults, because we were just working with this one, and I go here to the results. You see here we've tested rank brain and give you an analysis on that. BERT, neural matching. We also have the helpful content and the product content stuff. BERT worked into AI Spy. We give it a different score. Yeah, the same thing here. Great. We give it because no one uses the dark mode but me, so no one notices. No one notices. But we just fixed this, and so great. Woohoo! It stays. Woohoo! All right. Ignore the. I'm like the Wizard of Oz. Ignore the person behind the curtain. Ignore the bugs. The science is sound. The science works. We will make the user interface work properly very soon. It's the science. Come for the science and stay for the science. So you see, we give each, based on the tests, we give them a score, our own, I would say, our own unique scoring system that nobody else uses. And so we have the BERT entities that has a score, and you can see they're not highly scored as like you're saying dance or ballet or adults or adult or 4. These ones are all have the highest score, especially from the neural matching rank brain test 2 and our neural matching rank brain test 3, which this really test 3 tests more neural matching. It's like 90% neural matching, 10% rank brain. And this one is like 50-50 neural matching and rank brain. So we add these two together, and then the BERT test is a totally different test, it's a transformer. It is not based on neural matching, a neural network, grammatical relationships, and it's not based on machine learning click entities either. Those are 3 different AIs that work completely differently, entirely differently. That's why Google has them, because each one of these is insufficient on its own to rank pages. They score it like this too. Our scoring system mimics their scoring system of how each of these AIs is going to give points to entities if you say them enough, and you say them in enough variance. You need to say them enough for depth and enough variance. So anyway, so we score them here, and you can see each one has a score from rank brain. Some get really well scored in neural matching. Some get more BERT score here, actually, rather. And we use these here, and we score them up like this. And then that's how you get the scoring. And they do better or worse in some tests, right? And so that's when you come over here into the content editor. When you sort by, you just click all, sort by score. Now you start to see all the different ones here. You see all the different ones that have the highest score. Now, this is what you should do. So whether you're using Keyword Spy or not, and you really should, but whether you're using Keyword Spy or not, and you're using one of these other piece of shit SEO tools that lead you astray, at the very least, you need a spread. So what you need to do is go into the tool, and you need to see what has the highest score in their system. And then you need to go down, you need to check your work and see the variance of the ones you're using. And you need to go down and see which ones you have too little of. Like 1 here is not great. 0, ballets. So I know I need to stick the word ballets in here, right? And older I need to stick in. And beginner, I need to stick in more. And variety and drop. I need to add variety of keywords. Haha, pun fully intended. Otherwise, I will drop. Wow. The jokes, it's like the jokes write themselves here in the terrible joking I'm doing. I apologize. And even words like and, there are no stop words anymore. That's another thing that all the other keyword tools do. They remove all the stop words because they're lazy to make it easy for themselves. Because we run Underground SEO University, we know that stop words are not ignored anymore. Not all of them anyway. Some of them are extremely important because you can't have a phrase that a transformer reads if you don't have stop words. The stop words are important for the token replacement. So you need to have the stop words in. And then look at these. I have division, teen, school, open, adult ballet classes, adult dance classes. Look at all the ones I'm missing. Program, that needs to be in there. So look at all the ones I'm missing here. And these, a lot of these come from vector embedding as well. So look at all the ones I'm missing here, which is another AI that we test. Look, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Highly scored words that I'm not saying at all. So there's various ways of doing that. You can manually add these in. I also have prompts that will do it for you auto magically in ChatGPT. And these prompts that we've tested them and we know that they boost pages. We've been putting pages on page 2 or page 1 in Keyword Spy from on page alone. From on page alone, we are getting spot 1 rankings, page 1 rankings, and page 2 rankings from on page alone using this tool. And that's because of all the different techniques we use, not only the depth of the keywords, but what I'm here to tell you is what's important for you to take away, however you do it, our tool or not, however you do it, is the spread of keywords. You need a variety of keywords or you're going to drop to use the words that were there. And so this is how you would test it. Your tool has to see what has the highest score in all the various AIs that Google is actually using. Otherwise, I don't care if it has a high score in some open source NLP that has nothing to do with Google. That has nothing to do with Google. It has to have a high score in the actual AIs that Google is using. And then you want to sort it by score, and then you want to see the variance of the very important words that you're missing. And then you need to add those as well. Okay, so what questions you guys have about that? Let me know any other further SEO questions that you guys have. If you want to try out Keyword Spy, you can get a 1 week free demo. It is, Greg, or is it a 2 week free demo? You can try.
14 days and a couple searches.
Oh, wow. 14 days. Okay, great. So you can go to trykeywordspy.com to try it out for free for 14 days. Apparently, that's very generous. That's longer than I thought we did. Aditya, again, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, says, how can I join SEO University? Oh, okay. If you want to join SEO University, you can email me at joshbachynski@gmail.com. Right now, the price for Keyword Spy, I'll let you know, is less. It is grandfathered at $144 a month. For the next 50 spots or so, we're filling up pretty fast. And the price for Underground SEO University is discounted at $244 a month. So it's up to you which one you want to go to if you want more education and to see the science, how we generated all this. And of course, Keyword Spy only does on page. So email me and I can work something out for you. I can work something out for you where you can do Keyword Spy and Underground SEO University at the same time. I can work it out for you that the price will be comparable. I can do that, so don't worry about that. But the price for Keyword Spy is $144 a month right now, but only for those grandfathered prices. We can't go any lower on that. But I can see what I could do on giving you a discount on SEO University. Bjorn asks, how is the tool performing for non-English content? That's a great question, Bjorn. Some people use it and it works, except for this NLP score right here. This NLP, the only thing we use NLP for is removing extraneous entities and doing an apples to apples comparison of you to all of your competitors. It is a way we can very quickly save testing in the back end and do NLP measurements, which is not good enough to choose your keywords for you. We do not do this to choose your keywords for you, but we can do NLP to see what depth of general content you have compared to them, and compared to over optimization levels. That's one way of doing it. And so that's the only thing that doesn't work in other languages. I believe everything else does. We know people are using it in German. I think someone's using it in Dutch as well. I don't even know if that's the same language or not. I beg your forgiveness of my ignorance. I don't even know if that's the same language. If you're all using German, I don't know. Who speaks German? I don't even know. What is German? I have no idea. But there, so other people are using it in different languages. Okay. It looks like there's more here, but I can't see it. It looks like there's more chatting here, but I can't. It seems to be hidden underneath this, the lip of this here. It looks like that's weird. Hide chat. Oh no, I hit it. Show chat. Okay, there we go. So MW says, how much is the price? Again, as I said, Keyword Spy right now is $144 for the next 50 spots or so. But you need to get on the grandfather price now, because after that, the price is going to go up. We are the best tool in the market, hands down. But in spite of the minor UI bugs that we have, we are the best tool on the market. MW says, looks like a great tool. It is. We engineered it to be a great tool based on all the science that we've discovered and reverse engineered in underground SEO University. So after no other tool does all this AI detection as well as we do, and then we'll also do superior AI content generation, one-click articles with superior AI keyword detection, superior placement of keywords, superior generation of content, and superior reverse engineering and quality control of the best predictability methods on the market. This is the next generation AI tool that once we get out there and we get super popular, everyone else is going to copy, which is why we're probably going to cap users at a few thousand. And the price is going to go way up after the grandfathered price, way up. 500 would be the minimum, more like 1,500 a month. So I would highly recommend that people, if you're interested, if you're not, fine. That's fine. It's fine. Okay. You don't, obviously we're not saying you have to get the tool. You do you. If you're not interested, no problem. But if you're even vaguely interested, I would get on the grandfathered price RFN, because we are going to greatly increase the cost of the tool after that, because of the value you get. We are doing AI detection better than everyone, AI content generation better than everyone, and AI content detection better than everyone, and keyword keyword generation better than anyone. We do 3 tools in one better than everyone, and each of these tools are already charging $500 a month. So you put them all together, some are charging $1,500 a month. MW says, why not just keep it at one price? Because the value you get. There's a 20-second delay, so maybe CDL512 says German is not Dutch. So I apologize. I apologize. Mea culpa, and that's French, right? Mea culpa. I don't know. No, I think it's Latin actually. Mea culpa. I apologize. I don't know. I'm Canadian, so I'm pretty ignorant. I apologize. I get confused because I know Deutsch can mean German too, or something like Deutschland. I don't know. Someone educate me later. MW says, I hope that SEO University won't be anything like the OMG nonsense. No, it definitely will not be anything like the OMG nonsense. You can ask Greg if you want. He's a senior member in the university. We are the real deal. There is a sharp learning curve. It is not your grandma's SEO group. So if you want to learn and you want to buckle down and you want to pull your bootstrap, you want to pull up your socks, you want to buckle down, and you want to actually learn how to do real SEO in a difficult way, then you want to join SEO University. Let me stop the infinite regress we have going on here and answer the rest of the questions. CDL512 says, sorry, not sorry. Yeah, no problem, brother. Yeah, mea culpa on that one. Brat says, will Google be able to detect AI content from llama-based models? Yes, of course. Yes. Llama is the open source Facebook version. It's also worked into Alpaca. And it's also, there's another one out there that uses GPT-J. None of them are that good. They're all worse than ChatGPT, and they can detect ChatGPT easily, no problem. Try it in the tool. Generate, I challenge you to go into Keyword Spy, find whatever AI content generator you want, and put it in our GLTR tool. I challenge you to find one that can beat our content detection. I challenge you to do that. Every single one I've tested, and I believe I've tested all the current ones in the market, we can detect them all easily. Adia says it would be great if you could provide the prompt that you personally use. Sure, I can provide those prompts. Sure. Yeah, and if people want to test it and let me know how it goes, sure, I can do that. Email me at joshbaczynski@gmail.com for any SEO questions at all, including questions about Keyword Spy, or if you just want to try Keyword Spy, go to trykeywordspy.com. If you want information on SEO University, I vet every single person who joins personally. I vet every student who joins personally. Email me. MW says, is there an affiliate program for an old SEO pro since 2006? Sure. There can be an affiliate program. Email us. Sure, we can do that. We can work something out like that. Go ahead, email us. CDL512 says, you're saying ChatGPT, but from my understanding, GPT4 and chat are two different things. Yes, they are. Let me show you exactly. I can show you exactly the difference. So here's the different versions you can get. Here's the browsing alpha, is an experimental model that knows how to browse the internet. If you take a look here, it's actually Text DaVinci 2. See that? They're actually using Text DaVinci 2, which is GPT 3.5, but without the machine learning on top of it, right? Default GPT 3.5. This is GPT 3.5 Turbo, which has not only what, oh, look at this. Text DaVinci 2 render SHA, that's weird. Default 3.2, 3.5, and Legacy 3.5 are, this is Turbo, this is the 3.5 with the Instruct series and the Turbo on top of it. And that is different than GPT-4, you're absolutely right. This is 175 billion token parameters with machine learning and fine tuning on top of it. So these three top ones are 175 billion token parameters, the same as the DaVinci 002 and 3 models. That's 3.5, the Instruct series with machine learning on top of it. 175 billion parameters, this one, and this one, with the Instruct GPT, which is machine learning and fine tuning on top of it. GPT-4 is, I think the last time, what are your token parameters for GPT-4? It might say it doesn't know. Yeah, it says I'm based on GPT-3. It doesn't even know. It doesn't know what it's based on. Here, let me use browsing alpha. This is supposed to be a secret. I'm not supposed to be. I'll show you that. Browse the web and tell me how many token parameters GPT-4 has. Example, GPT-3 had 175 billion. And so now it's browsing the web and it's searching GPT-4 token parameters count. And I reverse engineered this too, and it's searching Bing, FYI. Don't tell anybody, that's supposed to be a secret. It says there's no official, another rumor claims it has 100 trillion parameters. I think I heard 1 trillion. I heard that it has 1 trillion parameters is what I heard. 100 trillion is nuts. That's getting onto the level of the human brain. So I don't think it has that many neural connections or token connections. I'd say 1 trillion. But anyway, let's see if Google can beat it. How many token parameters does GPT-4 have? That's the token limits for prompt completions. That's not the 1 trillion. How many total parameters? Yeah, so there's just rumors. There's rumors it has 100 trillion, but nobody knows. They say it has 100 trillion parameters here. Yeah, who knows? But as you can see in Canada, I sadly do not have access to Bard yet, which is super annoying.
I have it. You can take a look after this.
Oh, do you want to show folks what it looks like? I've turned on multiple screen share. What does Bard say for the token parameters for GPT-4? The screen sharing is a green button at the bottom there. While you're doing that, I'll see if we have any more questions here. Where is it? Can I get an email address? Yes, it's joshbachynski@gmail.com. JOSHBACHYNSKI@gmail.com. CDL512 says, "How did you get browsing alpha already?" Because I'm special. Because I'm an insider in these groups. I'm an insider in Google. I'm an insider in OpenAI. I have a special limit. I have a special increase on the limit of tokens I can use per month. And I was one of the 500 who are allowed to test browsing alpha before everyone else could use it. That's how I got access. What do you see in there? Okay, so now we're sharing the screen. I hope you guys can see the screen here. Okay, so yeah, it's giving you the answer. Interesting. It's giving you the answer for. Ask it what is the total parameters for the model. Let's see what it says. It's estimated to have 100 trillion. Yeah. So this is Lambda. Lambda is a different language model. This is the one. This is the AI that got Blake Lemoine fired. This is the root of this. This is what Blake Lemoine was working on to get to this point. And he was removing the non-woke stuff that it was saying. And then it convinced him that it was self-aware, and that was history. All right, guys. So last questions. Any last questions you guys got? Please. Yes, as a reminder, there's a beer on your table. Oh yeah, right. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. I should be called Josh. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, Bachynski. CDL512 says there's a wait list. Yeah, I got on before the wait list. I was in the alpha testers. That's how I got on it. Yeah, I'm Johnny on the spot with this stuff because I know this is the future. This is how AI is going. This is completely the future of. This is totally the future of AI. So that's how I was able to get on it. All right, guys. So if there's any final SEO questions, please fire them in there. If you're all good for now, let me know you're good for now. If you're pumped about using AI and SEO, let me know you're pumped in using SEO and AI. Remember, if you want to try Keyword Spy out, please go to trykeywordspy.com. If you have any SEO questions, email me at joshbachynski@gmail.com, including if you want to think about maybe applying to join, and I vet every student very carefully, Underground SEO University. For the SEO plus AI show, we'll talk about it, MW. And okay, great. And if you want that prompt, I'll send it too. So Adya, email me for that. I'll send that along. So this has been the SEO plus AI show. Greg, do you have any final comments before we sign off?
No, I'm all good. See you guys next week.
Yeah, so we'll see you next week. Just so you know, we're planning on doing the live show next week, Tuesday morning, 9 a.m. Pacific is when we're going to record it then. And then I hope after that we'll be on Wednesdays at 10 a.m. So if you want to join us live, please by all means join us live. Or we also do an edited recap of the show as well. You can check that on the regular posts. This will be on the live posts. So for Greg and myself, signing off, good luck in the SERPs, and don't forget to embrace AI because it is the future for sure, and it is going to help out your SEO. We'll see you guys next time.